So onto the second rally. It's the Rally of Sweden. Again, very challenging, quite narrow at times, completely different textures. Let's take a look. So now we're on to the second rally, this time in Sweden. Very tricky stage. Again, remodelled from the earlier games, but remodelled to be almost indecipherable. So these first few corners, high speed, flat out, gentle, trying to carry as much speed as possible. Round onto this long left-hander. There's a crest there that can throw you off, so you need to slow down before the crest. There are quite a few tricky corners like that you're going to need to get to grips with. A bit slower around there than I'd have liked. Suffering a little bit of understeer on this, and you'll see later I have a couple of incidents where my brakes are locking up. You really do need to set your brakes carefully on this stage. You'll need a proper setup for it, and I'll show you that once I get to it. So onto the many different textures that affect the car, the way it slides, the way it behaves into this much more narrow section, and they get a lot narrower than this as well. It really does amaze me just how good and precise these rally drivers are, one surface to another, but it also shows the precision that you need. So keeping the car going straight, just the stage, you can see it was just moving slightly to the left there, and so that sent me off to the right. You need to know exactly where you're going to land sometimes, but at the same time I can't go slow for you guys. I've got to try and show some speed. If I took it slower I could probably take it clean, but it's always about trying to push a little bit. And around that hairpin. I did do the handbrake there, but didn't quite get it down the way I'd like to have, so didn't quite pull the vac out. There's a slight echo on the voice you might hear if you're watching this. That's because you're actually hearing all 4 channels playing from the sound at the same time on this video. Very narrow section, going way too fast, trying to slow it down, and then once you actually touch a wall you can't slide then, so you kind of become a passenger for a few corners. And again, just trying to slow it down, but without ABS I'm trying to dab the brake rather than lock it too much, because that just sends me straight into the wall without question. So it's really difficult when you make one mistake to come back from that. And so it's these tricky sections like this that are very narrow, where you're going to need to learn how best to set your car up. There's certainly lots of concentration required to maximise this stage. I've never been that great on the snow textures. It's always been a bit of a challenge. I much prefer the tarmac and the standard gravelly textures you'll find somewhere like New Zealand. So we come round to the final section of this stage, last few corners. Only light touches, so no significant damage to the car. And if we come round now, that was the first stage from the Rally of Sweden. So a challenging rally for me there. It's certainly one that I'd need to work on. As I mentioned in the commentary, I'll need to alter my brake. They were locking up very, very quickly, and so unfortunately that was just without ABS, that was just sending me into the wall. So you need to be braking earlier and understanding how the steering works as well. So I'd need to spend a bit more time on that rally, but time is not what we have right now, because we're going to move swiftly on to the next rally. Completely different textures. Check out Mexico.